Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Spartan Canada Podcast. I'm Jill Sargent, and today I am with Karolynne Johnson. And Karolynne is one of our racers. You will see her on the course. I'm sure you've recognized her name or her face. She's had a bit of a come up this year, had some great training, great racing, and she just finished an amazing weekend with amazing accomplishments this weekend at Blue Mountain. So she is here to tell us all about that. Welcome. How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
Excellent. How are you recovering after the race weekend?
My legs are still tired, but overall, everything is going great.
Oh, that's so good to hear. Hang on one second. I'm just going to pause this for a second. I'm going to have to cut that. I don't know why this thing's slipping. Okay, let's try this. My goodness. There are days. Okay, let's try again. Okay, so that's good to hear. Your legs are recovering okay. And have you done any training since the weekend?
Yeah, I've done my first run this morning, a short run, like 30 minutes ish, just to get moving a bit. But business is starting as usual tomorrow morning.
Amazing. And so your weekend was just, it was an incredible weekend, and I'm going to let you share the story. But let's start with Saturday in Blue Mountain. Tell me about your race.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what to expect because last year when I raced Blue Mountain, I was injured. So I didn't like I wasn't a major competitor last year, so I didn't know what to expect this year. And I've been battling a knee tendonitis
Oh,
since June, but it's way better now. But and it only hurts when I'm running downhills.
ah,
So but it doesn't hurt that much now, but it's still present. So it was kind of bothering me, but I know I just had to do whatever I can and just make the best of this situation. But I was really happy to be back at Blue. Blue is wonderful. We had such beautiful weather too this year compared to last year. If
hmm
you remember the mudslide, I don't miss the mudslide.
Yes, I sure do remember the mudslide. And I also did notice the hills that we were sliding down last year were now uphills this year.
Yes, they didn't want to take a chance, I think.
No, exactly. So you were you able to run as fast as you could downhill, or were you feeling like I really have to push the hills, knowing that your competitors are quite strong at everything, of course, up in the elite
Yes,
field there.
definitely. I pushed more on the uphills because I had to be careful on my downhills. I would have been much faster if I could have run as my usual pace, but I'm pretty happy with what I did. It was a pretty bold move to start the race with the Olympus too, and I really
Yes.
liked it.
I was going to say some people loved that, some people did not love that. I am in the love because that is one of my most difficult obstacles, and it felt like, wow, I'm really good at Olympus. Did you find that
I did
too?
not succeed. I didn't succeed at the Olympus. I don't know. I haven't figured out my technique, or it just hurts so much my hands, and
Oh
I
yeah.
stand, and it's just it hurts. I don't want to do that anymore. So,
No, and I'm just like that too. I've opted, I will admit, especially in like an ultra or a beast, it's your first obstacle. Do you want to tax yourself that hard?
mm,
Do you? That's a choice that you make as a racer, right? So
exactly.
totally understandable. I luckily had been practicing that one because, like you said, it's technique, right? So um, but yeah, very difficult. Now, did you find, like I did, the rope climb to be the hardest rope climb of your life after the beast?
Yes, it was like the rope was soaked in oil or whatever. It was so slippery, and I just battled so hard. It was my longest climb of my career for sure.
And that's one that I know you nail every time, I nail every time, but I was just like, whoa, what happened? I know it's because you had just climbing up and down the hills, even though you might not think it's affecting your arm strength, it's affecting your overall body strength. So
Yes.
I liked that. I liked where the Herc hoist was. How did you like running through the village?
Yes, it was really a fun part. And so since I'm running really early, I wasn't bothered by all the people coming across the village. It was nice to be cheering on, but I was thinking of the open ways that would run later that and then there will be a lot more people in the village. And I don't know if it's been a problem for them, but
I actually ran the open in the 21K with my daughter. It was her first 21. So it was really fun. And we were probably at one of the most busy times of the whole day. And yes, there were people crossing the lines and stuff, but there were also people managing traffic too. So I never felt like it was chaos or anything. It felt really well managed considering it could have been very chaotic. That was my
yes.
experience anyways. So, and then the next day, there was nobody there because I was in an early morning heat, just like you. So at the end of the 21 kilometer, you'd preserved your knees. And let's talk about your final standings for that race.
Yes, so since since the Olympus was that early and I fell behind most of the top racers, so I had a lot to do to catch up to the third place if I wanted to make the podium. And that knowing that with the competitive system we have this year, I knew that even if I caught up to the third place, that didn't mean I would still make the podium. I still had to be the fastest as I could be.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't remember. I passed Nicole at the bucket carry, and I managed to create a good lead on her, and she never caught up to me. So that was the hardest part.
Hmm.
But Susan is really fast. I knew I couldn't catch up to her. She had a good lead on me as well. But even though I create a good lead on Nicole, I I still pushed to the very end, like I told you, because I knew that it didn't mean I was going to be third, even though I crossed the line third. So I really pushed and I managed to nail my spear, and I sure that helped keeping me on the podium.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And now we hear that we are bringing back burpees for next year with the spear.
Yes, I was
So,
excited about that. I know that most of people are not happy about this news, but I'm glad that we get the burpee back.
I mean, I'm not going to be upset by it because I personally can do the spear quite well. So I'm happy about that. But when
Yeah,
I
I
couldn't do the
see.
spear,
Nine
I'd be
on 10.
pretty upset. But I'm sure I will miss it at some point and be cursing the burpees. But it is what it is, and it will make for exciting finishes too, because people will be more stressed out about tossing that spear at the end. You'll be paying attention to which one you're grabbing, what the angles are. I know I kind of zone in and figure out which one I want to even throw. So that kind of stuff will happen. I know Faye Stenning talked about a burpee battle that she had after the spear to win a race. So
Mhm.
that we'll have some of that stuff. There's a lot of interesting races in the Spartan Canada female division that go back and forth. I heard, was it in the Beast that you, or was it the next day, which we can go into? Was it the Beast where you kind of at the last minute took the third place, or it was the bucket carry and you kept that?
No, it was at the bucket. It was on the Sunday that I took the lead, and at the very last second,
Okay,
and it
let's
was
get into that one. So day two, you wake up. How are you feeling? How's your knee?
oh, my knee was okay, but I was so sore from the day before, and I didn't sleep well because you keep waking up because your body's so sore and it is wondering
Yeah.
what's happening, so you just keep waking up. So yeah, I didn't add a good night of sleep, and but I showed up anyways, like we all do.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing happened. I started the race, go to the Olympus, fell behind because I failed that obstacle. And I was bummed out because I was like, okay, Nicole was again ahead of me, and she was in second place. So I was still in a good placement. I was third, and it was great thinking I would make another podium, which was the first for me as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I worked pretty hard to caught up to Nicole. She fought really hard, and you know my one of my mantra when I'm racing is the race is not over until the race is over. So I have to
Absolutely.
keep telling this myself because I would give up. I would stop pushing myself. And you never know what's going to happen. You never know if the girl in front of you is going to fail an obstacle, or if you're going to fail one. Maybe the girl behind you won't fail that obstacle. So you have to keep pushing until
Yeah.
the very end.
And
And
sometimes people go out too hot too. Like you don't know
Mhm.
what that people are doing. So I find that too. It's a battle with your brain the whole
Yeah,
time.
definitely.
And just finding a way, to get out of the negativity and also to okay, regain. My breathing's back. Let's go. Let's go. And the 10K, it hurts more, in my opinion, because you are at such a high heart rate. It's so much faster. The 21, it's still hard. It's very hard in a
Mhm.
different way. It's more getting your breathing, trying to be able to go the distance. But this one is like, it's a full send.
Yeah, the sprint and super, you don't have a lot of margin for an error if you
Hmm.
want to have a good placement. So you really have to pace yourself if you don't want, if you want to have that energy to push hard. But yeah, I did work really hard on my climbs. And again, it was really funny because, Nicole and I are like, I would not say like best friends in life, but we're kind of best running friends. And she was at
Race
the top
besties.
rest basically. And she was at the bucket carry. There was a small, not a long climb before that. And I was at the bottom of the climb and she was at the top. And she looked back and I just wait and say, "Hi, I'm coming."
Oh, that's hilarious. I
So
love that.
yeah, she
It's
wasn't,
it's
I
part
wasn't
way
that
that you're
far.
excited to see her. The other part is that, oh my gosh, here, I'm still here. You better push it.
Exactly. But that what makes the racing fun because when you spend too much time alone, like it happens a lot during a beast, you stop pushing yourself because you don't know where you're at and you don't have that sense of urgency to keep pushing and finish faster.
And do you like that personally? Would you rather be have the sense of urgency, or would you rather not know and just do what you think is the best?
I prefer to have the sense of urgency because it's more concrete, the girl's there, so I have to do everything I can to cut up to her.
That's awesome.
So so
So
yeah,
whereabouts did you overtake Nicole then? This is the
so I,
exciting.
I was pretty close to her. I kept going, and she started the sandbag a bit before me, but then I just kept on running with the sandbag, and we finished the sandbag almost at the same time. Did the slip wall together, and then we started the Z wall at the same time. But I finished it before I jumped and rang the bell.
Oh,
And
nice.
after that, it was the barbed wire crawl, and I just rolled under it like my life depended on it. So that's where I took the lead. But after that, I remember it was a spiritual, and I didn't want to push too much. I wanted to keep my heart rate a bit lower, so I didn't push that much. So I get to do the spear, took the first one, took two deep breaths, and bam, I got it. And I ran out of the zone like my life depended on it again because I didn't know if she was going to have it or not, and I didn't want to risk it. So I didn't look back, and I sprint
No.
to the fire jump, and that was it.
You're like, I did my job. I'm out of here. Good luck. I hope you also do well, but there's
Exactly.
nothing better than that feeling of knowing someone is on your heels and you're very, very stressed out, and it's the spear that is going to separate you. So, what a stressful and thrilling way to end. And I hope the spectators got a great show when that was happening. I know all the volunteers that would have been handing out medals, like Crystal, would have been just so excited to see the two of you come in like that. So, and then I have seen some really awesome pictures since, because of course, after a race, you go on social media and try to relive it as much as you can. You're hoping everybody's posting pictures. But there were some really, I'd say, pretty cute pictures of the three of you kind of laying down together. It looks like you're just sitting down waiting for snacks and like going to
Yes.
have a play date, and you're just great friends. You can tell that you've done this before. You can tell you're all happy for each other. Nobody's angry, and it just looks like the best place to be. How did that feel, and what was that all about? Anyways, what were you talking about?
Oh, we were just so tired and so happy to have, because all of us didn't run. We didn't do the trifecta weekend. We didn't run for the sprint after that, so we know it was over. So the nerves were coming down, and we were just enjoying being there. And I for for Nicole, I think it was her last race of this year. Susan still has some DECA competition, but I think OCR wise, it was our last two. So we just kind of enjoy being there. It was just it, I for me personally, I felt like I belonged. Um, I just I was there with my friends, and I was so happy to make a second podium, and I just felt like I belonged with them and with the OCR community, and which is just so fun to be together. It's a bit weird to explain without sounding a bit awkward, but
It's
but
not,
you
I
know.
mean, we're talking to people who like Spartan races and want to learn about Spartan races, so it's the right audience.
Okay, cool. But yeah, and I think it was Nicole's stepdad, and he told me that he was so impressed by our sportsmanship that
Oh
we
yeah.
have together, and I was like, but I love Nicole and I love Susan, and I just want them to be the best they can be, and I want to be the best. I don't want them to fail. I want them to succeed, and I just want to be better. And if I got to beat Susan one day, it will not because she failed. It would be because I got
Because you,
better.
yeah, exactly. I think that's hard to explain to people who haven't been in this sport, that you genuinely are happy if someone that you compete with beats you. It's not, I mean, there's the initial disappointment. Maybe you don't make your podium, but you're not mad at the other person. You're excited for them. And then you're going, okay, next time I'm right on their heels and I'm going to do this and I'm going to train harder. And so it's more of a drive, and it's just nice to have that feeling. And I love that you said the sense of belonging. And let's go back to that, because you started this journey a really long time ago. I mean, long in the sport. You've been doing this for
Yeah.
quite a while. Let's talk about that, and how this came to be, because Karolynne is a very good success story of working really, really hard to achieve the goal, of elite podium. This is now did you get four elite podiums this year, or was it three? Three or four?
Three this year and five total since I
So I
started
think
doing it.
I remember when you got your first, and it was kind of like a shock. Like you were so excited about it, but it was like, oh my gosh, I did that. Okay, that might not happen again. And of course, everyone in the background is like, it's going to happen again. And then it happened again. And now it's happened again. And so let's talk about that, the journey of the starting to now. What was it all about?
Yeah, but I think it was like for everybody else. Yeah, I mean, it was this thing happening, and you wanted to try it, and I wasn't in shape at all at that time. It's my 10 year of running OCR, mostly Spartans because they are my favorite. But yeah, I couldn't do like even half of the obstacle at first. I did so many burpees, so
Hmm.
many burpees.
Back when everything was burpees.
Yes, and even though I was running in open wave at that time, like half of my OCR career, I ran in open waves. Um, I took it seriously, and I still did my penalty, and open is really a fun category. It's really where you run with your family and your friends,
Hmm.
and you can help out each other. But then I just got the feeling, I want more. I just want to be more, and I'm tired of waiting after people, or people having people waiting after me.
Hmm.
So and I just wanted to the challenge and do everything by myself. So I started running in age group. It was new at the time because there was a competitive category back then, but it was different of what we have right now, and was different than age group. So it was a new concept, and it really was fun. And I remember I was so stressed to have to be able to complete the obstacle.
Hmm.
You just can't pass the obstacle anymore. You have to try, and you have to do your burpees. And I was so stressed about that, but then it was just a natural thing.
Yeah. And then how long did you compete until you realized, okay, I'm going to start, you know, trying for an elite category prize here?
It was in 2019. Um, I did the trifecta times five, and I still wasn't the fastest competitor, but I I think I knew I was over with age group category when it's sad, but I witnessed a lot of cheating in age group, and that's what really bummed me out of this category. And also that because most of the age group racers that I competed against didn't take it enough seriously for me. So
Hmm.
that's when I knew that I had to move, to the elite category if I wanted to have a competitor who took it as seriously as me. So, and I knew I had a lot to do to caught up to those racers. Back then the top racers were Lindsay Webster and Nicole
Yes.
Merkel and those kind of people. And I was like, there's no way in hell I can run as fast as them. I still can't, but I'm trying. But that's what I was aiming for.
Hmm.
So, but and then the pandemic hits and everything shut down, but it gave me a lot of time to get personal coaching and to up my game. And I dropped a few pounds too. That helped. And then I came back stronger in 2022, and I was ready to start my first year as elite, and that's the story.
Yeah, that is not the longest journey from one place to the next. But I think you've hit the nail on the head with it takes time. It's not just I'm moving into elite and now I'm hoping to get even a top 10 maybe in your first. So I think there
Mhm.
is, I know age group is going back to age group and elite category is going back to elite. So next year you will have to make that choice. And I think that it's if you want to go into elite, just to have the expectations of starting and just climbing, just work on climbing or work on, doing your best and comparing yourself to one day to the next rather than trying to compare yourself to who you're racing against, because that's always going to change too. But it's
Mhm.
really a cool story to see how you went from not doing things and now you're on the podium. And it's kind of a normal thing. If we see you at the start line, there's a chance there that we will see you also on the podium. And not only that, I check all of the results after, and I've seen you in the top five almost every single race this season. So that is a very, very big deal. You should be very
Yes,
excited and proud of yourself for that.
yes. When I look back, it's definitely a huge improvement. And yes, my only goal I had when I started running in elite was that didn't want to be the last. That was
Mhm.
my only goal. If I was second to last, that was okay. And I did manage to to honor that goal. But yeah, I'm pretty happy. And you never choose who shows up, at the start
No.
line too. So you just have to be like I said, you have to do your best with whatever is there because you don't have control over who's racing or not, and the weather and the obstacle order. So the race is not over until it's over.
And it could be totally different from what you've looked at online to what's actually happening because it's all dependent on weather and all sorts of different things. It was quite an enjoyable weekend though this weekend. The vibe
Yes,
was vibing. Lots of really happy people, lots of new racers. It's so amazing to see the open waves. And then to even watch the chatter online in the Facebook community, it's
yes,
really neat to see that. I'm always trying to pump that up because, like, come on in. We're
yes,
welcoming. Sign up for a few more races, and then you will be, just like the rest of us who keep going and going and going.
yes. I don't know how many people showed up, but definitely I think it was the most busy weekend for Spartan.
Yeah, so I heard 6 to 7,000, and then I heard another
Wow.
podcast that said close to 10,000. So I think
Wow.
somewhere in those vicinities, it was crazy, crazy busy. And I do have to say, for the 21, even though I was probably in the busiest open wave, people were super respectful and awesome. And it wasn't, I didn't care if I had to wait a second or two for an obstacle. If someone looked like they were running, you can go past me. We're just having a good time. So there was a great vibe in that. And that's partially because of the weather and the fall colors. Oh my goodness.
Hmm.
Lucked out. I think we earned that though from last year.
Oh yeah, definitely,
And the
definitely.
mud pit. So, all right, so do you have any more races this year? I know you travel a bit throughout the States. So, what's up next for you?
So yeah, in two weeks there is the stadium in Boston, Fenway Park. So yeah, that's our last race weekend of the season, and it's the cherry on the top. If any of you just wondering what is stadium race and are not sure to run a stadium race, it's so much fun. There, yes, it's as long as a sprint, but the obstacles are a bit different, and it's kind of some CrossFit obstacle, I would say, because there's slam ball, there's jumping rope, and there's box jump, and then there are also like Spartan, classic obstacle like the the spiritual is there, the monkey bar is there, the rig is there, and everything. But the vibe of running in the stadium, there's music blasting out, and there's camera people who are filming racers, and you can see it on the big screen, and it's just like a huge party.
Hmm. That
It's so
sounds
fun.
amazing. I have not yet gone to one, but it's definitely on my bucket list. That's a great one to end with, isn't it?
Yes, and it's such a short course, yes, there are stairs, but I think like top men run them in like 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
It is such a fast course.
Yeah, that sounds, and how do they make it it's 5K, isn't it? At the
Hmm.
end of, oh, that's interesting. I see some up and down the stairs. It looks so much fun.
Yes.
So what does your race schedule look like next year? Do you have anything you're vying for? Do you already know which are going to be your A races? What does it look like for you next year? You've had such a successful year this year.
Yes, for next year, I will be able to compete in the national series since the two races are in the east and only one is in the west for next year.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
definitely those will be A races. Um, I will do most of the Eastern races. I will travel back to New Jersey in April to get my first beats of the season. Then I'll surely be back at Killington too, just to earth everywhere.
Just because you like
And
to suffer.
Yes, definitely. We do Killington only to remember we're alive.
How would you, for anybody who's listening who might be new, how would you rate Killington to Blue Mountain? No, we all know that Killington's a lot harder, but how much more I need to train if I'm going to go there? Or do I just go for it?
If you're planning to do the beast, I will use my husband's racing time because he's not he does not compete at my level, but he's
Mhm.
better than he, he's faster than an open racer.
Yeah.
Um, he did like 5:30 at Blue Mountain, 5 hours 30 minutes for his beast, and at Killington he did seven almost 8 hours. So the climbing are a way lot longer and it's way harder. And the obstacles too are made harder. If, for example, the sandbag carry is usually in a steep uphill, and it's a long sandbag carry. Like, I mean, this compared to the sandbag carry we had at Blue Mountain, it was at least 3 times longer, if not four.
And that was the nicest, most lovely sandbag carry we've had all year because it was all flat. So thank you, Spartan team and Nick, for being nice for, just half a
And
second.
Jill, yes, and Jill Genius.
It felt good. I was like, oh yeah, you can run this thing.
Hmm. Yeah, the course, the Blue Mountain race was so well balanced, in my
Hmm.
opinion, in terms of difficulty because we it was a challenge, but still not too hard because it was still made accessible, for the people who
Absolutely.
ran the sprint in the afternoon, and that was just perfect.
And I love that too because it's for the sprint, if you're running that, it's just one climb up the hill. Get up the hill one time
Mhm.
and you're good. If you want to challenge yourself, go for the 10, the super or the beast, and 6 climbs. That felt excessive, but that's what we signed up for.
Definitely. But Blue Mountain is a large mountain rather than a you know, it it doesn't have that much elevation, so
Hmm.
they don't have the choice to do all this up and down. If you ran at Killington, you will climb maybe the mountain twice, 2 or 3 times, but you will climb a way lot longer.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. I've heard of the Death March. It's just sounds lovely.
Yeah, if you want to do the Killington, I would recommend you to get on the Stairmaster, for 45 minutes nonstop. That's a death march, basically,
Geez, 45 minutes. Huh,
at
sounds
least.
like Tremblant a little bit.
It's Tremblant it's still easier than Killington. And Tremblant is one of our hardest race we have
Mhm.
in
Well, I would
Canada.
say you're not selling it very well, but the funny thing is that most of us want that ridiculous level of difficulty. So, all
Yeah,
right, what?
I will not lie. I will not lie about Killington.
No, we don't. I don't want you to lie. What is your favorite obstacle?
It didn't change since last time you asked me, even though it was hard, the rope climb. Yeah,
Yes.
still one of my favorite obstacles.
I liked that it was in the village this time because everybody was watching you, and that was kind of fun. Ringing the bell at that one was very good. But yeah, rope climb is great because, and I know the story, but share with us why the rope climb became your favorite obstacle.
Because it was one of my uh, hardest one to learn to complete. That because I didn't knew the technique with your feet you could use to climb the rope. But and then I learn it, I practice it, and I'm never feeling another rope climb of my life.
You do not have to fail that obstacle. There is a technique in there, even if it's an oily,
Mhm.
sweaty, wet rope that at the end of a race, it's still doable. All right,
Yeah.
let's end with one quick question. What is one thing that you cannot race without on race day?
Um, uh, I would say because there's so many choices because I always have the same kit to run for running, but I would say maple syrup because
Ooh,
nutrition is so important. Even if you just run the 5K, I still have maple syrup, tuck in my bra or something. Always have maple syrup.
I am a maple syrup runner too. I feel like it's partially Canadian and partially it never I never get sick of maple syrup.
No, no, and I tried energy gels and I tried many brands and I just couldn't, eat them. But then, maple syrup just,
Works every time.
yeah.
Yes, I have to agree with you on that one. I love maple syrup. I've thrown ginger and I've even put coffee in with my maple syrup,
Hmm.
made my own little gels.
Oh, that's cool.
Sorry about that. All right. Well, I am excited that we got to talk again. Let's do this again. Maybe throughout the season, maybe we'll check back in with you next year and see all of the things you accomplish next year. So congratulations. Super
Thank you.
awesome seeing you out at the races every time.
Yeah, definitely. I'm super, everyone, if you know me, maybe I won't recognize you or remember your name, but just come say hi. I'm super glad you know me. And if you follow me on Instagram or anything, I'm super, uh, I don't remember the name, the word, uh, I'm super grateful. I'm super grateful for everyone and to be again on the podcast too. I'm super grateful for this as well. So yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome.